Right. As far as the inside of the case goes, we were able to pack a bunch of interesting new technologies and features into this build. Like you can even see my reflection in the mirror on the CPU radiator. But starting with the outside of the case, we went with the Cooler Master 5 Pro case. I picked this case because it had a radiator solution both on top. You can put a radiator in there if you so choose to, either above or below the fans. You can also, there's also a spot for radiators up here in the front. It sits nicely in between this bracket here and the front of the case. See, it doesn't bulge out in the front of the case, none of it whatsoever. It has a fan pushing cool air through the front of the radiator, and that's why I elected to put it in the front, because I have an open air graphics card. As you can see, the heat is percolated through these fin stacks here, so the inside of my case stays a little bit hotter than blower style cards where it blows its hot air through the back. As you can see, it does have 3 fans on the bottom for cooling purposes, but I didn't want that hot air being blown up through my CPU fin stack and keeping the water temperature that's going through this loop a little bit hotter. So I elected to keep it on the front so it pushes cool air through the fin stack, keeping the CPU cool overall. The CPU itself, Ryzen 1700, I have it clocked about 3.3 gigahertz right now at 1.55 volts, I believe. All of this is sitting on, as you can see, the ASUS Crosshair 6 motherboard with the G.SKILL's RAM in sync with the ASUS Aura software. As you can see, 16 gigabytes of G.SKILL Trident RGB RAM. Man, that's a mouthful. Anyway, moving down to the video card. As I said before, it's an open air cooled video card. This is AMD's most powerful card on the market at the moment. It is the Sapphire R9 Fury. Waiting to see what Vega is about. If Vega lives up to its hype, I'll get 2 Vega cards and run them in Crossfire mode. If not, if this card actually gets pushed down and pricing with the release of the new Vega cards, I'll just get another one and run another Sapphire Fury down there on that PCI lane and run those 2 in Crossfire mode. And the lighting, as far as the lighting, it's all being controlled by this NZXT controller right here. It has 2 lanes. The first lane is running up the back and controlling the 3 fans at the top. And then the second lane is controlling the RGB stripping inside the case. Now, this particular motherboard only had one USB 2.0 header right down there, and I needed 2 of them. I needed one to power the Kraken X42 cooling block, and I needed another one to power the lighting controller. So I had to buy NZXT's USB 2.0 extension module here that gives me 3 more USB 2.0 headers to attach those 2 peripherals to. And on the outside, as you can see on the back, it has USBs galore. You can't possibly use all those USB ports, both USB 3.0 and 2.0. We also have USB 3.0 on the front, but this computer is going to be mounted to the wall, so I don't imagine me using any of the front I/O. And as far as networking is concerned, we do have, I'm not sure what networking card that is exactly. I forget the brand name that I bought, but I got off Amazon. That's doing a pretty good job right now. And all my video is being pushed out the video card via 2 display ports at the back that gives me 4K, count of 4K at 60 frames per second. But right now, I only have one 4K monitor at 60 frames and one 1440 monitor at 144 frames or 144 hertz. But anyway, get all this closed up, mounted on the wall, and I'll show you the complete setup. Alright, it is currently mounted on the wall and ready to go. Everything is hooked up. I decided to leave the side panel off because I found that my CPU temperatures are about 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler when the side panel is off, so that's why it's off. But the R9 Fury is currently synced up to both monitors. This one is 1440p running at 144 hertz, and then the right one is 4K running at 60 hertz. Using what's called AMD's FreeSync technology. So that's why I went with AMD hardware, because what FreeSync does is the monitors talk to the graphics card and sync up the frames per second or the hertz counter, so you don't have any screen tearing or any other adverse effects If I would have went with an NVIDIA card, their proprietary software is what's called G.SKILL, and to get G.SKILL on monitors, it's about an extra 150 bucks. So 150 times 2 monitors, it's another 300 bucks. When AMD software is comparable and does the same thing. Anyway, as far as system monitoring is concerned, core clock is currently 398 megahertz, running at 1.55 volts. It's not a bad overclock for a Ryzen 1700 CPU. Got some work to do on the RAM. RAM's currently sitting at a frequency of 2196. The G.SKILL's RAM currently sitting on the motherboard is capable of all the way up to 3200, but I've had some stability issues trying to overclock their frequency any higher. But the good news is ASUS is coming out with a motherboard BIOS update sometime later this week that should fix some of those stability issues. If you have any other questions, please let me know.